Tonight's the final night of the fight between Democrats and Republicans, I guess, before the election. I know everybody will be excited to get back home and see that. I talked with a young man just recently who told me, he said, I would have absolutely no desire to run for President of the United States. And when I asked him why, he said, I've got things in my life that I wouldn't want anybody to know about. Things that I'm ashamed of, and I'm afraid if I ever ran for an office like that, all it would be involved with people looking into the past, trying to pick up every bad thing they can to tell about me. And I heard one man on TV, a political pundit, expressing the belief he had that he was sorry, that he was afraid that we might not ever see really good people ever choose to run for president again because of the fear of what it would do to them and their family to have people start searching in their past, looking to find every bad thing about them they can, and then broadcast it throughout the world. We know, though, for a fact that there is a time coming, there will be a day of judgment. And it's interesting to me that when Solomon talked about it, he said that God will bring every work into judgment, including every secret thing, whether good or evil. And that's a frightening thing. That's a fearful thing. But the good news is, for those who become children of God, through those who are children, God makes a promise to us that all of those things that we've done, for which we have been forgiven, will never be brought up again against us. The Hebrew writer said, for I will be merciful to their unrighteousness, and their sins and their lawless deeds I will remember no more. Micah chapter 7 and verse 19. He will again have compassion on us and will subdue our iniquities. You will cast all our sins into the depths of the sea. And then again in Isaiah chapter 38 and verse 17. Indeed, it was for my own peace that I had great bitterness. But you, talking about God, you have lovingly delivered my soul from the pit of corruption, for you have cast all my sins behind your back. And then in Psalms 103 and verse 12, the psalmist says, as far as the east is from the west, so far has he removed our transgressions from us. God's taken all of our sins when we become Christians. He's taken all those sins and cast them into the depths of the sea. I've heard people talk about what it's like out in the Pacific Ocean, the Marianas Trench. It extends some 7 miles down. Imagine, anything dropped overboard on a ship like that would be lost forever. And so it is with our sins. God cast them into the depths of the sea, never to be brought up again against us. He'll cast them all behind his back. God will never look at those sins again. God has removed our sins, the psalmist said, as far as the east is from the west. You ever thought about that? We have a North Pole and a South Pole, and we can measure how far that is. But there's no East Pole and West Pole. And that's just another way that God has of saying, I'll remove those sins completely so far from you, you'll never see them again. You'll never be bothered by them. And so the Christian doesn't have to worry about the mistakes he's made in the past being brought up against him. Those things are gone forever. That's another good reason, I think, for why one should become a child of God. To think about all the bad things that we've ever done in life being taken away and never being brought up against us again. And when I stand before God in judgment, I'm not going to have to worry about those things because God said he'll remember them no more. So tonight, if you're here as one who's never become a child of God, I want to encourage you to give serious consideration to all the blessings that come to you when you become God's child. But surely, the greatest thing, having those sins removed and knowing you don't have to worry about them ever again. Maybe there's some here as God's children, but you know you haven't really been living faithful to God. If you'll come back to God in repentance of those sins, God's going to forgive those sins too. And once again, those sins will be taken away forever and ever. And you'll never have to worry about it again. We serve a God of great love, of mercy, and kindness who's promised to do these things for us. And tonight, he's making that same promise to all of us. So if you're subject in any way to his invitation, as we stand and sing this song, we're doing that to encourage you to make your life right with God so that you can have all those sins removed and never have to worry about them again. If you're subject to his invitation, please come to him now while we stand and while we sing.